Hi, yes, welcome. I'm Robert Carman, and I'm product manager in the Windows platform team.
I'm Alexander Sklar. I'm a software engineer on the platform team as well.
And we will talk to you about MCP on Windows today. And we're going to cover a little bit about what it is and why we're doing it. And then Alex here is going to show you some code for how you can participate and get up and running and join us on this journey to agentic workflows on Windows. So with that, we are in the process of enabling MCP and agentic workflows natively on Windows. And what this means is that we're building a platform that AI agents and tool providers can leverage to create workflows and enable these experiences to work without the user having to do a lot of configuration. So we're building a registry for tools and providing isolated environments for running those tools so that you can create a trustworthy and secure environment for your agents to work within, and providing policies around these things for how agents and tools can interact, and we're getting secure by default out of the box, so that when you turn this on, you know you're in a good place. So what does this look like? Our platform consists of a couple of building blocks. We have a registry, like we call the on-device registry, or ODR, as you will probably hear us say a couple of times today, which is a inventory of all the installed and registered MCP servers on the system that either you as a user or your device admin have provisioned onto the device. And it contains a proxy for managing activations of those servers so that we can run them in a secure way and get them isolated and contained and restricted in the ways that that we feel is the right ways for the specific servers. And then we have an interface for that registry to agents so that they can enumerate and make use of these servers. So for the next about 20 minutes or so, we're going to take you on the developer journey for how can you participate in this and how can you leverage this from your applications or as a user of these systems. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Alex here, and he'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. So for shipping an MCP server, it starts with writing a really great MCP server. And what better way than to use the C# SDK for MCP? If you're more familiar with Python or TypeScript or other languages, there's SDKs for all those as well. My personal favorite, C#, of course.
Of course.
And then you write this thing called an MCPB manifest. And this is the MCP bundle manifest. This is a kind of manifest that you write for essentially describing your server, describing what tools it contains, what capabilities it requires. So it's just a JSON file with some metadata, and that becomes part of your package. So you can package your server as an MSIX, which is like just a regular Windows package application. You sign it because we want to be security first.
Secure by default comes in.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So and then you publish it. You can publish it through any medium that you already publish your Windows apps, and then you deploy it. And so that's pretty much, minus the MCPB manifest part, it's just you create a Windows app and you ship it just like you're already doing today, right?
Okay, so how about we dive into some code then, right?
Love to hear that.
Yeah. So Here we go.
There you go. So yeah, so here what we have is this manifest.json file. This is the MCPB manifest, right?
And we say MCPB manifest, and you mentioned MSIX. So even if I have an MSIX, I still use MCPB to configuration.
Correct. Yeah. So MCPB is now kind of the standard for these for defining and describing these MCP servers that run locally. So we have standardized what that format is, and we're working closely with the community and the MCPB working group to evolve it and improve it over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is just a JSON file like we were talking about. It describes the name of the server, the icons, how to launch your server, right? So your server is likely going to be usually it's going to be a binary, in this case, an exe. But in the future, we'll be able to support things like Node and Python as well. So in addition to that, you can see we have tools. So these tools are essentially the name and the description, and this gives grounding to the model of when to call these tools. And then you'll see a bunch of additional metadata. And so this is really kind of additional requirements that we're adding onto MCP on Windows so that we can ensure that these servers are compliant with our security profile.
So again, right, secure by default.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. We want to make sure that Windows is the best and most secure place for running agents. And so we want to, protect against rug pull attacks or tool poisoning attacks. And so in this kind of default mode for MSIX based MCP servers, the list of tools needs to be statically declared, right? We don't want the server to do anything funky, at runtime with that.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of additional information here. We have documentation on learn.microsoft.com as well on this. But you'll see that in addition to the names and descriptions of the tools, we also have things like the input and output schema, right? So it's something that you don't see in traditional, old school MCPB. And this grants additional metadata for the model to be able to reason when to call these things and how to call these things.
So it helps improve tool finding and tool use in the model.
Yeah. Exactly. Great. And then the other part of the puzzle that we hinted at before was the MSIX manifest. So if you're a Windows developer, you're probably already familiar with this. So this is just an XML file that has descriptions of, there's one application here, here's the exe, and then within that application, we're adding this app extension that you'll see it's named MCP server. And this basically creates the link, right, between the MSIX application package and the standard MCPB manifest, manifest.json. And then we have this app execution alias, which is like how Windows can find your exe, globally. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
Once you build your package and you install it, clients like VS Code or Visual Studio or Claude or any other client that talk to our on-device registry can just use them. You don't need to configure anything.
It's perfect. So let's see how that kind of works. And so like once you have created this, you packaged it, and you have installed the MSIX, it's just, a standard MSIX being installed on your device. So nothing strange there. But once it's there, you can see it will get listed in the ODR, and clients like Visual Studio Code here, for example, right, can now leverage that and find that server and use those tools. So we're going to see here, we have a little Contoso project that has an inventory that we have created this MCP server for. And we will now asking a couple of questions about that inventory leverages the registry to find and use the agents. So
Yeah, so you'll see here, I didn't pre-configure anything. The only thing that I did was install this Visual Studio Code extension that we've built to connect our registry with VS Code.
Yeah.
And just by virtue of having that running, VS Code can access any MCP server on the device. So here I'm just asking, what products are in my Contoso stock system. And you'll see that, GitHub Copilot is deciding to run a couple of tools. And in a second, you'll see there's this dialog here, right?
Yeah.
And this dialog is really kind of the Windows security speed bump that ensures that things go through user consent. And what I showed just there is...
Let's go back there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this a little bit, right?
That is really a key part of our kind of security offering. These MCP servers are running contained. So what that means today, they're running in this thing we call the agent workspace. So they're running actually not as my personal, Alex user, they're running as an Agentic user.
Yeah.
And they're running in an agent session. So this is kind of our first step to try to contain what servers can do so that users and enterprise administrators have confidence that servers are not going to, do random funky stuff that we don't want them to do.
Yeah. So basically we have attribution that the action that was taken was actually taken on behalf of the user, not by the user.
Correct.
So that is why we're doing this and why we're adding all these containment and other users to the system. But as we see here, we got a reply back from the MCP server, and we're done. It worked, right? So yeah. We talked also about the MCPB here, right? As a, oh wait, hold on. Yes. I think I may have named my slides wrong here. Here we go. So we talked about MCPB and that it can be used as well as a way of distributing your MCP server.
Right.
So let's look at that, right? What I have, instead of an MSIX, I created just MCPB. I have the same MCPB manifest, like no changes, right?
Right.
Let's look at what that looks like. So,
So MCPB, like we talked about, it's a manifest format and it's also a packaging format. So here what I'm showing is you can double click on an MCPB file and it will launch this installer that we've created, right?
Yeah.
And today, these MCPB packages are not installable by default because they don't yet run with all the agent workspace protections that we talked about. So this is what the installer is telling me, that the policy doesn't allow for installation.
Yeah.
So if I click on that information bubble, then I can go into settings, and
it shows you a little bit of a setting here that says reduce protections for connectors, right? And that is
exactly right. So this is you as the user are in control of what you want to install and what you want to run. So once I turn on, that reduce protections mode, I can run that, double click on that MCPB package again. And once I install it, it's going to unpack the MCPB package into my machine and register it with ODR. And from that point, it's just another server, right?
Just the same as if I would have had an MSIX at this point.
Exactly, right.
So basically the same thing here, where we have the MCPB packaged MCP server, a lot of MCP here, installed instead, and it's used the same way as we were with the MSIX, right? So I'm just listing it as a server in Visual Studio, and asking questions about the inventory, and now it's gonna launch and actually activate the MCPB version of our server. And a little bit of things here, right? So it behaves slightly differently. Like I don't see a pop-up here. I don't see the confirmation of doing things.
Yeah.
And I assume this is because it's not signed, it's not being run in the same kind of environment.
Yeah, and that's why we needed to go into settings and enable the reduce protections mode. So when reduce protections mode is enabled, then you don't get the additional protections, right? Yeah. Like the consent dialog and additional kind of enterprise infrastructure like logging and auditing that we were building.
But this is for you as a developer, so you can kind of go in early and do development testing, work on your service and kind of be along on the journey. And as we roll out this feature and kind of become more mature, the MCPBs will be signed as well and have an SBOM, like bill of material that is secure, so that they can run in the secure by default mode. And be used, in enterprise settings, etc. So
absolutely.
So that is, I don't know why I have double the. So we are talking about the MCP registry here, right? And how it's used and managed, and we have seen clients using this from Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, and how do people actually use this tool, right?
Yeah, so we built this on-device registry as kind of a multi-purpose, one-stop shop for all your MCP and agent needs, right? So this ODR acts as both a CLI tool as well as an MCP server itself, it's kind of meta, right? It's an MCP server that reasons over MCP servers on the device.
Yeah. So let's switch out and do some real code here again, right? So,
so for example, we can call ODR MCP list. Actually, let me just show you what this looks like by itself. So you'll see there's a bunch of text, right?
Yeah.
This is great, but I'm not going to read through all that.
Human readable, no. LLM readable, yes.
Yeah. So, I love my PowerShell, so I'm just going to convert from JSON and then do that. And this is much nicer way to look at it, in my opinion.
For sure.
So, I can get a little description of what each server does. And then I can, there's a lot more properties like you saw in the first run. So I can inspect those. So that's kind of the main part of the CLI. We also have CLI commands for adding and removing servers and whatnot. So general management. But really the MCP is kind of really exciting because all these clients are already needing to know how to talk MCP to connect to MCP servers. So talking to the ODR just becomes talking to another MCP server.
And I guess we can kind of show that as well, right? So just by using the inspector tool, which is the open community tool for inspecting MCP servers.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna give it ODR as the MCP server, and I assume this will just work then.
It's magic.
So
yeah, so it's just opening the inspector tool, and you can see it's just gonna call ODR.exe with MCP as the argument, and when it connects, we can list the tools of ODR itself, right? And what do you know? There's a list MCP servers tool. So, I can inspect what that tool looks like, and then I can run it. And when I run it, there's basically all the information that we saw at first. So this is pretty easy for a client to use this MCP server to learn about other MCP servers.
Oh, that's perfect, right? So it's MCP all the way down, as I guess the saying goes. Yeah, so that is, oh, let's see, I got my presentation up here again. So that is basically MCP on Windows. We are in public preview. We are rolling out. If you are in the Windows Insider, you should be getting these bits onto your devices relatively soon. We are also working together with the ecosystem and partners to make sure that, we are bootstrapped and you can start using this in some of the tools and using and leveraging tools from others, from your servers, from your clients already today, right? So over the last couple of months, we've been working here to get here. Now, we want you to lean in, and I would love to see what you build and what you kind of create with this this platform that we're rolling out. We have a couple of pages here where you can go and learn more. We have some quick starts, deeper documentation, samples. Everything you saw here is also available on your GitHub as well, right? So you can kind of go and dig on this bits right now, and we would love your feedback as well, right? So do reach out. We have on GitHub, through issues, etc., or you can use the Windows Feedback Hub to contact us and make sure that we get all the information that we want from you, and you get all the information you want from us. A little bit of a closing note as well, right? So we talked about the developer story here. We talked about containment. We talked about attribution. And the reason we're talking about all of those things is, of course, that this platform brings along something that you as a developer might not be too overly excited about, but your employer may be, which is management and IT management around this, which is why we're doing all of these things, right? It's to scale MCP away from being something you're doing on your device, configuring from scratch, into something that enterprise admins can set up and just roll out into the organizations, so that it gets broader use and your servers gets more usage.